Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoteric and our eternally running series, the Unported Playlist, where I take a list of my favorite unported arcade games of all time. And today we're doing a revisit on Scud Race and Scud Race Plus, because it's been over 3 years since I've talked about this game. And for all of the new racing games that have been included in all of the new Yakuza games, this is one title that still exists only in the arcade. It is the only way to play it outside of emulation on Supermodel, and considering it is one of Sega's best arcade racing games of all time, and you know damn well I love the thing, we're going to be talking about it one more time. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. But Scud Race is absolutely concise, incredible arcade racing from Sega that feels completely different than anything else. It's unlike Daytona USA and it's unlike Sega Rally. It is its own unique racing experience with its own physics and handling system, and it feels absolutely spectacular to play, but is one of the harder games to master as far as Sega arcade racing games are concerned. And the best part is, or the wildest part is, this game came out in 1996 and still to this day looks absolutely stunning. As far as all of the Sega Model 3 games are concerned, I would absolutely hand it to Scud Race for having the best visual presentation, the best overall look, and the best sensation of speed when it comes to racing. Because when you go into the first person view here, it is absolutely blistering as far as how fast it feels like you are moving. Add into that some awesome drift mechanics and some incredible courses, and you have a recipe for genuinely a very special Sega game. And it's not like Sega didn't make a ton of incredible arcade racing games, they 100% did. And even though I always insist Outrun 2 is my favorite game as far as Sega is concerned, and I still believe that, Scud Race is very, very close, and sometimes I would say that this one might actually be my favorite, but honestly, my favorite changes around a metric ton. And just so you are aware, I've already talked about it on a Port Authority episode, but Scud Race also has Scud Race Plus, an upgraded ROM that I feel like nobody actually knows about. As we move into the second race here, the course design and track layout and all of the scenery at the edges is just the prettiest thing Sega's ever done in my opinion. Outrun 2 is a gorgeous game, so is Daytona USA 2, but the overall graphical vibes and environment in Scud Race is just Sega firing on all cylinders, hitting that 10 out of 10 mark. Honestly, we're more at like 10.5 out of 10 territory, above perfect. And I know I say a lot of games on the channel are perfect. I am very optimistic when it comes to my favorite games. But there is absolutely nothing about Scud Race that I would improve or change whatsoever. The only way they could make this game better is if they added more tracks, came out with a Scud Race 2, or finally put it into something like Yakuza. But just like Daytona USA 2, now that we have both Power Edition and the Default Edition in Yakuza games, Scud Race is also hobbled by licensing. One, all of the vehicles in the game are real vehicles from Lamborghini, Ferrari, Porsche, and even Dodge. Secondarily, there is a racing league attached to this as well, so you really need to deal with removing a lot to bring it over to a modern console. And that is why still to this day the only way to play this game is to find a real arcade cabinet, to buy an arcade board, or to use the Supermodel emulator like I am doing here. But the best part is Supermodel emulation for Model 3 is absolutely staggeringly good. You can upscale the games, you can move them to 16:9, you can do whatever you want, including using a wheel with force feedback, but I did leave this natively at 4:3 aspect ratio because that's how the game was originally presented, so I wanted to talk about it in its original presentation form. As we move on to the next course in the game, this European Tour, again, the course layout is really what makes Scud Race so good, but you have to get incredible at the actual drifting, because you'll see there I went a little bit too fast into the corner and spun out. Your vehicle will spin very easily in this game, and I'm using the Porsche 911, which is the easier car to handle. Once you move up to the extreme cars, trust me, if you're not absolutely perfect, you're never going to see a checkered flag, because you're going to run out of time. But I think that's what Scud Race does so incredibly well. The learning curve is steep. The first two courses you're going to be able to finish, but the third and the fourth you may have to actually run 15-20 times to be able to see a checkered flag. But you get great music while you fail, so go ahead and listen for 45 seconds and I'll be right back.
Your engine temperature is rising. Tires are ready.
Now, unlike Daytona USA, the engine noise is definitely paramount compared to the actual soundtrack underlying it, and as far as music is concerned, this is relatively good, but it's not going to hold up to anything like Daytona USA or Daytona 2. But Scud Race isn't about those lyrical tracks like you get in Daytona, it is about the racing, and again, when you go into first-person mode here, it just looks incredible, and the sensation of speed is just 100% there. When they say you're going 130, 140 miles an hour, or in this instance close to 300 kilometers an hour, it feels like you really are. You'll see there a couple crashes and I ended up running out of time right before the actual course ended. You need to race relatively perfectly on normal difficulty and even on easy difficulty, which you can adjust from the test menu. You can't crash that many times if you ever hope to see the checkered flag on the third and fourth courses. As we move into the fourth course here, this Aztec Ruins theme, it just 100% works. This feels very similar to Daytona USA 2, where you actually have a couple courses that play it relatively straight, and a couple of fantasy courses, and I love that mix. That waterfall there going underneath this overall bridge, sure I hit the wall, but it just looks incredible, and that is the reality of Scud Race. It is a beautiful game in motion, the controls are absolutely precise, and it is challenging. Now it's definitely arcade handling, but it feels like it's slightly closer to sim than it is the pure arcade experience of something like Daytona USA, because the cars are a little bit more realistic, and again, you really have to worry about those drifts. The ass end of the vehicle is going to get out from underneath you and you're going to spin it, and that's going to lose you just a few seconds, which is going to be the difference between actually being able to complete a race and not. But every single time you make a mistake, you know it's your fault, it's not the game fighting you, and you think to yourself, if you just learn the braking and drifting a little bit better and understand the racing line a little bit slightly nicer, you're going to be able to succeed. You'll see there, I just drifted too late and I bounced the wall, which took my speed off. And that is the fun part about something like Scud Race, learning every single course, learning the racing line, understanding each and every vehicle in and out. Once those all start to click together, you're going to start getting better at the game. And it's probably been like a year and a half since I sat down and played Scud Race, so I am a tiny bit rusty. But I do hope one day this comes to another Yakuza game, so you can basically have all of the incredible Sega arcade racing games included within that series, because Sega's never going to port this thing home it seems, but it is nice that Yakuza kind of keeps the dream alive for stuff like Daytona USA 2, so hopefully maybe in the future a Yakuza will feature this one, but I am highly doubtful because you'd have to change all of the car models and all of the branding within the game. And you'll see one more time, I ran out of time. Like I said earlier in the video, Scud Race Plus does exist, and it adds another course to the game. It is just basically a Daytona oval, but you get secret unlockable cars, you're in a child's playroom and in a living room, you get bowling pins, and some of the vehicles even have a cannon you can shoot to knock other opponents out of the way. It is just a fun little bonus feature, but I feel like for the most part, not many people even know Scud Race Plus is actually a thing, and it does give you mirror mode on all of the courses as well, so it kind of expands it out to being 8 courses, not 4, even though 4 of them are mirrored. But one more soundtrack sample, because again, maybe not as good as Daytona USA, but still amazing. 35 seconds, and I'll be right back to talk a little bit more about the game.
Your engine temperature is rising. The track is slippery. Watch out.
Great music and a fun announcer, and if I had to pick a favorite course in the game, it would definitely be the second one here, through the airport. I love seeing all of these different bridges, all of the planes, the drifts here as you come into this corner. If you take it well, you can 100% miss the wall in its entirety, and I would say this is definitely the course I am the best at, because it gives you a little bit more open space to actually drift around the corners. So definitely the easy course and this airport course, where I would learn the vehicle that you want to choose to use, and you definitely don't want to use the Porsche 911 all the time. It is the slowest vehicle in the game. Not to say it's slow, but it just isn't as fast as some of the other vehicles, so getting a first place finish can be incredibly hard in it. Best I was able to do is third place in one of the races, but as you get up into the stuff like the Dodge Viper, that's where you're going to win a race, but those things are so incredibly difficult to control in all the best ways. You're going to have to learn them, and that's where the fun comes. But as far as I'm concerned, Scud Race is a perfect game. The only thing that could be improved is it getting ported to modern consoles. But I'm done. Definitely go play if you never have before, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.